Hiya, I'm Allison and welcome to Polygon Refinery. In this behind the scenes video, I'm covering my first 5 stop motion animated shorts featuring my lovely little ghostie. To start, what is stop motion? Stop motion is an animation technique consisting of a series of still images. Between each image, an incremental change in the pose of the subject occurs, resulting in the illusion of movement. Meaning I can take something like my ghostie puppet, an inanimate bundle of recyclables, and make them fly. Stop motion is a fun medium because it contains so many possibilities. If you have a camera, that's really all you need to get started, although many tools will help. Large studios that make feature-length films have tons of shiny, expensive, and specific tools to film with, and dozens of employees with R&D. For me right now, I have a smartphone, table, basic software, a computer, and crafting supplies. And me, I am the employee. When planning this little series of shorts, I had a lot of goals and constraints for myself. I had almost no budget, and I wanted to be able to work quickly in order to build my skills and my confidence. A simple puppet and a simple set was the solution to that, using magnets, wire, and clips as a rig to hold my puppet in place. I did a couple weeks of trial and error to get this puppet design. First, I tried using plasticine clay around aluminum foil, but there were some obvious problems. Plasticine is a dirt and hair magnet. I could not keep it clean, and it was too heavy for my wire rig to hold. I quickly 3D printed some cylindrical platforms to see if I could get Ghostie to hover using that technique instead of the wire, but working that way was too limiting for the movement that I wanted, and it was truly awful to edit out. Next, I thought of using scrap fabric to construct Ghostie's body. It would be much lighter for my rig, but the big issue was making the fabric itself posable. I tried many different ideas using whatever wire I had at hand. I attempted a wire endoskeleton, but it slid around too much. I tried weaving thin wire into the fabric itself and sewing it to the edges, but there was not enough control. It did not hold its shape the way I needed it to. Then, after some research of different stop motion techniques, I realized that aluminum foil would indeed do exactly what I needed. It's cheap, lightweight, easy to source, and if I glued paper to it, it would look however I wanted. So white crepe paper sandwiched around a square of foil is all this little puppet is, really. While I wanted a very simple puppet for this project, I at least wanted some eyes. Replaceable eyes would give me a range of expressions, and I settled on 2 sets of polymer clay eyes with tiny magnets. Reinforcement was necessary so that the head would not deform while adhering to the magnets. A piece of toilet paper tube worked nicely for that. And the last puppet evolution was born out of necessity. I added some wire inside that could be poked through the paper as a handle for my rig to clip onto, depending on the angle my puppet was facing and if the clip was not strong enough on its own. While I stuck to simple scenes, I have used a handful of props in my animations. Some items I was able to source for cheap, others I crafted myself. I bought a set of mini fairy lights for my second short, but needed a container for them, and I was inspired to make an antique-looking steamer trunk. So I grabbed some reference images, opened up my 3D modeling software, Autodesk Maya in this case, and quickly modeled a hinged steamer trunk, which I then 3D printed. I have no idea how I managed to do it in one attempt. I am trained in 3D modeling, but for digital uses, not practical ones. I am very happy that the hinge mechanism I made up just worked. After a bit of plastic cleanup, some Mod Podge, and paint, the trunk was ready to go. For the dancing short, I needed a Walkman looking prop. I just learned to needle felt, so I made some tiny little ear pads out of wool, attached them to wire, and a simple cardboard square was the cassette deck. The silhouette and legibility was much more important to me than accuracy for this, so although it does not really look like anything on its own, in context it reads exactly how I wanted. I'm using Dragonframe software to shoot with, which is honestly the best investment for anyone looking into stop motion. I've tried other free or cheaper options, but the controls and ability to import references are so incredibly helpful in Dragonframe, it takes stress away from me to use it. I use LAVs, or live action videos, for all of my stop motion animations. It helps me mostly with timing, but also helps me plan ahead and stay focused on my shots. If a prop helps, I will just record myself moving that around, or if I need to use myself as a reference, I can do that too. and that video just lives in the corner of my screen, providing a lot of valuable info to me as I shoot. The next major step in my process after prep and filming is editing. This part takes just as long as the animating. I use Adobe After Effects to erase the rig from my frames and do final editing with music and sound effects in Adobe Premiere Pro. I learn a new tool or process every episode, which is frustrating, but also useful. Sometimes you just need to step away and cool off for a minute. I plan to continue animating with Ghostie and add in a secondary character. Long term, I would love to evolve my stop motion puppet and rig complexity. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see my future creations. And remember to keep making stuff. The world needs it.